What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. My name is Dash Lifestyle. Kindly for watching me for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, share and also comment. To my returning subscriber, thank you so much for always coming back and watching my video. Thank you so much for the love and support, and greetings to my brothers and sisters all the way from Caribbean country. So guys, in today's video I want us to listen to what the former Prime Minister of Jamaica said about Africa and United States. Watch this video, then I'll be back with more comment.
Europe could not exist and attain the level of development it did without plundering the resources of Africa, both natural and human.
So guys, I hope you have watched that video from the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, what he said about the United States and Africa. He has come out and say, if it was not Africa, the United States taking our African resources to their country, rendering our minerals here in Africa so that they can develop their country. If it is not Africa, United States, it won't be where it is right now. The UK, the Europe country will not be where they are if it was not Africa. And this is true guys. This is what these people they are doing here in Africa. Up to date, they have not yet left Africa. And for me, I keep on telling you that I really love Jamaica, because Jamaica, it is the #1 country in the Caribbean which keeps on fighting these people who are coming here in Africa. Jamaica, it is the #1 country which also defend Africa, which they will not sit down and seeing people coming in Africa taking our resources and they keep quiet. This message is from the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, and I really love him because of he was also fighting, he was also helping African nation to fight the colonizers. And also guys, I have another video from our Nigerian brother. He has come out and mentioned the country, the African country which are being used by the colonizers to control Africa. So kindly guys, watch this video, then I'll be back with more comment.
Here are 4 strategic African countries that the United States and its allies in the West has captured to keep a hold of Africa and keep Africa enslaved. Number 1, Nigeria. Yes, if you control Nigeria, you control the whole of West Africa. Nigeria, of course, they've got a good network of roads from Nigeria to other West African countries. They've got air transport, well linked to all the cities in West Africa. And Nigeria militarily is the biggest. You know, Americans have made Nigeria the biggest military deliberately so that they can easily control West Africa, intimidate other countries. That's how they've kept control. And recently, they pampered the Nigerian economy artificially to become Africa's biggest, when it's not true. You cannot have Africa's biggest economy with 13 million people threatened by hunger in 2024. It doesn't happen. You can't hear of hunger in South Africa. I mean, Gauteng alone in South Africa is the biggest economy. You can't compare with any country, but it's just a district in South Africa. So it's not true that Nigeria is the biggest economy. Americans twerk. They brought down the South African economy. Remember what they did with the banks, conniving with the banks to bring down the rand and all that, so that they should lose track when it comes to Standard and Poor credit rating? Yeah, that's America trying to pamper Nigeria. And why did they pamper Nigeria like that? They were trying to hit back at South Africa for joining the BRICS. Yeah, you get it? So, control Nigeria, you control West Africa. And you know, when they pamper these people, they pamper them socially as well. Nigerians feel like they're top dogs in West Africa, you know, and you know, you cannot talk to a Nigerian about Pan-Africanism. Have you heard a Nigerian talking about Pan-Africanism? If there is, very few. But they don't talk Pan-Africanism. You know, they feel like they're top dogs, America is with them and all that. You know, they pamper them socially, deliberately, so that they should have no feelings for any other West African country when it's suffering under the boot of the United States and its allies. And, you know Nigerians with Israel. Israel is their heaven, their promised land. You cannot talk to a Nigerian about genocide in Israel. You can't, because they did a good job of brainwashing Nigerians in that area. Let's not even go there. Country number 2, Egypt. Yes, control Egypt, you control North Africa. All the countries, Libya, Algeria, Tunisia, Sudan, Ethiopia, they are under Egypt. Egypt is superior militarily, economically, and Egypt is well linked by road, by rail, by air transport, very well linked in North Africa. And as usual, the Americans have pampered the Egyptians to feel that they are most important people in North Africa. So when they hear that this such country, like they did to Libya, devastating that country, the Egyptians were just, oh, well, it's none of our business. We're good with the United States, so they have pampered them economically, socially, so that they should have no feelings for any other. Like they're eating on the same table, but they're not really. They're just another African country that they're exploiting, and that's how the United States plays this game. So you control Egypt, you control North Africa. Third country that the United States and its allies strategically controls on the African continent is Kenya. Kenya is well placed strategically. The rails and road networks from Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, all of them connect to Kenya. And they did that deliberately because they want to get a good grip on East Africa. The United States deliberately made the Kenyan army the strongest army. And that's for a reason. They're sending them into Haiti to keep the peace in Haiti. But in actual fact, they're doing the dirty work for the United States in Haiti. They're doing that in Somalia already. They sent their troops in Somalia on the orders of the United States to keep the peace in Somalia. But they're doing the dirty work there. They're simply trying to make sure that all East African countries are kept in check and the United States keeps its control over the eastern part of Africa. Yes, talk to a Kenyan about Pan-Africanism. How many Kenyans have spoken Pan-Africanism? One guy, Patrice Lumumba, I give it up to him. I give it up to you, sir. But he's a lone star. Kenyans don't share the same sentiments with Patrice Lumumba when it comes to Pan-Africanism. He's like a desert flower. Rose, I don't know what they call those flowers that you just find in the desert, just there, alone in the middle of nowhere. That's Patrice Lumumba. Kenyans have been socially pampered by the Americans to feel superior to everybody in East Africa. There's a reason for that. That's what Americans do best. They pamper you so that you feel nothing for the others who are suffering. Just look at what they've done with our African leaders. They are so rich, they are billionaires, but they are running the poorest countries on earth, and they feel no remorse. Fourth country that the United States and its allies in the West control is South Africa. Yes, if you control South Africa, you control the whole of Southern Africa. South Africa has got a good road network into Africa, rail, air, and if you control the South African economy, you control the whole of Southern African economy. And the United States was very scared when they saw that, oh, these guys, they've gone to BRICS. Oh, these guys have kicked Israel out. But Ramaphosa is paying a big price for that because they are coming hard on him. They want regime change. In this 2024 election, the ANC has lost its majority in parliament. They've divided the South Africans so good. As usual, the Americans, they have pampered the South Africans to make them feel like they're the most special guys in Southern Africa, and they won't care a thing about Pan-Africanism because the Americans do it best. They'll pamper you to make you feel important and part of them. And South Africans are light-skinned. Maybe they feel like they're closer to the white skin. Maybe. Because they voted for a white party, DA. The party that says in its manifesto that they'll never give the land back to the black people. That's the party that South Africans have voted for to keep it in second place and very, very close to power. But the party that speaks Pan-Africanism like the EFF, they've kicked it so far down to fourth place. And very, very soon, the DA might start ruling South Africa, slow by slow. America wants South Africa back, and they want to punish Ramaphosa. And Americans are sending a message that if you stand against America and Israel, you're going to pay the price. And this is the message they're sending to Ramaphosa right now. So the Americans are fighting to get South Africa back. This is exactly what is happening. America has gotten hold of the whole of Africa using 4 countries: Nigeria, Egypt, Kenya, and South Africa.
So guys, you have watched that video from our African brother. He has come out and mentioned the 4 countries which betrays African people. We have this country which this United States, with this Europe, with these colonizers, they are still using to control some of the African country. This guy, this brother from Nigeria, he has mentioned the #1 country, which it is Nigeria. Nigeria, it is being used to control some of the African country. You can see how they have pampered Nigerian military. They are coming out and say Nigeria, it is the largest in economy in Africa. And also he has come and say Kenya also, it is being used to control the colonizers. They are using Kenya to control in East African country. And yes, that it is true. For sure, I can tell you that Kenya, the other day, Kenya was protesting against the government simply because our president here from Kenya, he went in United States. After getting out of United States, when he came back to the country, he was coming up with a huge bill with so many taxes that he wanted people to pay. And this is all because of how he was being told in United States. The United States, they wanted us to pay more taxes. They wanted us to give out our land to the government so that we as Kenyan people, we should have no land which will be owning. The land which it is here in Kenya, they wanted it to belong to the government so that they can be able to control our minerals that we have in our land. This is another thing that they are using. This is to tell you how they are using our leaders to control us people. And also he has come out and say South Africa also, it is being used. And up to date, South Africans, they are still being used by the colonizer simply because South Africans, they think that because of the South African having more white people in their country, they are now, these white people, they are now taking over South Africa. And also there is a fight which it is going on between the United States. They really want back the South Africa. They want to take over South Africa. So the South African, if they still continue impressing the colonizers, their country right now, it is in danger. And right now, some of the South African, they are also betraying some of the African country because they feel like they are more developed. They don't want to be called one of the African country. This is how South Africans, they are now betraying some of the African country. And also he has come out and say also Egypt. These are the 4 countries which are being still used by the colonizers to control Africa simply because they don't want Africa to unite. I really love what Ibrahim Traoré is doing in Burkina Faso. And Ibrahim Traoré right now is being targeted by the colonizers. He's being targeted by colonizers because of how he's removing the colonizers in his country, because of how he's changing the system of the colonizers in his country. And that's why the colonizers, they want to turn these other African leaders to hate Ibrahim Traoré. But for me, I always tell you that revolution, it has started here in Africa. Some of the African country revolution, it has started, and these people, they are fearing this revolution that Africa, it is going. And I really love what our former prime minister from Jamaica, he has come out and say, these people, they came here in Africa. They took our brothers and sisters from here in Africa to the Caribbean, to United States. They made them to work in the Caribbean. They went through forced slavery in the Caribbean. the black Americans, they are the one who build Americans. The black people, they are the ones who build America. After building these Americans, when they are asking for their rights, these people, they don't want to give them their rights. When the Jamaicans, they're asking for their land back because they have done so many things in Jamaica. Right now, they are getting out of slavery. They are getting out of colonizers. And the colonizers, they have not yet done with the Jamaicans. They want still to control Jamaica. These people, they took our brothers and sisters forcefully with also the trick that they are still using to turn our leaders against us black people. These people are the ones who paid some of the African leaders so that they can capture their fellow black people to give out to the colonizers. The colonizers, they were paying them money, our greedy leaders, so that they can capture our brothers, so that they can sell to them in the Caribbean, in America. This is what happened. And our former president from Jamaica, he has said, if it is not Africa, these people, their country, it won't be where it is. Because these people, they are the ones who came here in Africa. They took our treasures thing from here in Africa. They are taking our resources from here in Africa. They are going with our resources in their country. They are creating more jobs to their children. They are using our treasures thing here in Africa to improve healthcare in their country. All the healthcare system that you see in their country, it is because of our minerals. It is because of our treasures things that they took here in Africa. So these people, they cannot do without Africa. And that's why they don't want African country to unite. They don't want to see Africa to unite, because we as African, when we will unite, will be very powerful than them. They know if we will unite, they will lose their country, because they depend so much in Africa. Despite calling us Africa bad country, people, we are dying with hunger. Yes, we are dying with hunger because of them. They're the ones who are taking our treasures thing here. They are the ones who are taking our minerals here. That's why we as Africans, we are dying with hunger. That's why we as African, our leaders, they cannot work for us, because of these people. They are turning our leaders to be puppet. They are controlling our leaders. They are making our leaders to betray us. And I keep on telling you, it is now the right time for us African to unite. I really love the leaders from the Caribbean. The Jamaican leader, look what Marcus Garvey, he was fighting. He was telling Africans to unite. He was asking all Africans to return back to Africa. Look what Bob Marley was singing about Africa. African unite. He was telling us African people to unite, because our brothers and sisters from Caribbean, from America, they want to come back here in Africa, but they want to see us unite so that they can come back safely home. They want to see African, you are uniting so that they can come back here in Africa. They are calling our leaders to make sure that we are uniting. And I really love to see this revolution that it has started here in Africa to continue. I want to see African becoming borderless. I want to see all African people, all black people, wherever they are, when they want to come back here in Africa, they need no visa to come back here in Africa. I want to see my brothers and sisters from Caribbean, from the black Americans, buying land without any restriction, because they are our brothers and sisters. I want to see them buying land, building here without no restriction, because I believe one day they will be returning back here in Africa. Wherever the Caribbean, it is not their home. The black Americans, United States, it is not their home. Their home, it is here in Africa. So we should make them to come back here in Africa safely. They should be able to buy land here in Africa. This is Africa unity that I want to see. I want to see African using one currency. We should stop using their dollars. We are tired with their dollars. We want our African money. We want our African to be borderless. We want our African to be using one network. Because here in Africa, these people that have divided us, they make our countries to be with we can see we have borders in our country. How comes we have borders in our country and in their country there is no borders? Their country is borderless. They are being governed with one president, the president of United States. What about here in Africa? I want to see Africa having one president, and that it is Ibrahim Traore. I want to see Africa having one president. I want to see African, when you want to go in another African country, there's no restriction, there's no visa. You are going to see your brothers and sisters from here in Africa without no restriction. And I keep on wondering, how is it difficult for us African people going in their country, but for them coming in Africa, it is easy. I want Africans leader to make also possible for these people to come here in Africa, as how they are making us very impossible to go in their country. These people are taking us for fool. We should stop entertaining them. I know it is very hard for us African to unite. I know it is very hard as African to support our own races, because we as African, we are known of supporting other races than our own races. It is because of these white people who came during the colonizers teaching us that we as Africans, we know we should not support our own race. The race to support is the Indians, the Chinese, is these other races. I want to see that changing. I want to see that change for our black people. So I want to see support from the Caribbean, from the black Americans, supporting our revolution that it has started here in Africa. We are uniting, but some of our African leaders are the ones who are bringing us behind, because they are still puppet. Look what Nigeria is trying to do. The Nigerian president, he was trying to fight the Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traore simply because the Nigerian president is a puppet. He's being controlled from from outside, and he's being the colonizers. They are turning him against the president of Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traore. Look what these people they are doing to our Kenyan president. Our Kenyan president also is the puppet. These people, they came here in Kenya. They took away our police. They took our police and sent them to Haiti to fight our own brothers and sisters. This is to tell you also the Kenyan president is a puppet. He's being used by the colonizers. These colonizers, they are the ones who are making all this fight to happen in the Haiti. And yet they want to come here in Africa, take our soldiers, African soldier, to Haiti to fight our own brothers and sisters. This should stop. The Haitians, they are trying to fight back their country. They are trying to remove the colonizers. The Asians, it is not developing because of the colonizers. They are still taking their resources. That's why they are fighting. But these people are coming and take our soldier to go and fight our fellow black. These people, they are making us people us black people to be fool. They are taking us as a fool people. How can we go in the Haiti, fighting our brothers and sisters? The same way with the Jamaican. Right now, the Jamaican soldiers, Jamaican Defense Force, it has gone to the Haiti also to fight their fellow neighbor country, to fight their brothers and sisters. This should stop. So kindly guys, I don't want to talk too much. Subscribe if you haven't, Like this video, share, and let's talk more in the comment section. Subscribe and bye bye guys.